Hello, Dr. Cinema here. Let's talk about the movie Justice League War. Now, this is one of many DC animated films to come out in the last several years. The story tells the story of seven people of the DC universe: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Cyborg, and Shazam coming together for the first time to fight an army of parademons led by the Dark Lord of Apocalypse himself, Darkseid. Now, this movie came out in the year 2014, 1 year after the animated adaptation film The Flashpoint Paradox, and it was largely implied that every anime movie that came out after that would be somehow connected together. And this film is also an adaptation of Justice League Volume 1 Origins, the first major Justice League story of the new 52 DC universe. Now, let's just talk about this movie as a movie by itself, its own standalone thing. It's pretty fun. I mean, this is the first time in this fictional world that the movie's depicting that all these people are coming together for the first time. And apparently, this is also like the first emergence of a lot of superpowered individuals. So, watching them all together work for the first time, it may not be as extensive and in depth as you probably would like, but it's still there and it's still actually well defined in its own merit. And a lot of the action is fun. The animation style looks pretty good. It has energy, atmosphere, and some good styles, and it has some humor as well. How the hell is this better than the 2017 live action Justice League film? Come on, guys! Now let's talk about some of the more larger stuff, like this apparently being part of like a connected DC anime movie universe that started off with the adaptation animated film The Flashpoint Paradox the year before. Now, the end of that story in both comic and movie, it ends with them for sure explicitly saying that despite the fact that Flash changed the timeline and had to change it back, that Batman and Flash are still friends that have known each other for some time. But in Justice League War, this is the first time they're both meeting each other. So there goes that interconnected implication theme. So much for that. But it's still a good film. Now, of course, like I said, this is largely an adaptation of the first major Justice League story of the New 52 comic universe. And while I haven't actually read that first major story, I'm aware of the more bigger changes that it makes. For example, they switched out Aquaman with Shazam, and that's more or less it from what I can tell. A lot of the stuff just still stays the same, really. I mean, of course, in the new 52 version, it's obviously setting up a larger, more universe wide story to be explored in other future Justice League stories, as well as other stories in individual runs. But really, the change from Aquaman to Shazam is, from what I can tell, the only really major thing about this adaptation. And of course, all the characters seem to be represented pretty well: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all those. Now, in this movie, of course, they've all had their powers for at least a little while, with the exception of Cyborg, and we actually see his origin story on screen of how he became injured and transformed into Cyborg. All the other heroes have been doing this for at least a little while. Even Billy Batson apparently has already had Shazam powers for a little bit at least. So it is kind of interesting to see this like happen on the screen. Yeah, that's all I really pretty much have to say. It's got great animation. It has a very well defined atmosphere and some good style and action scenes and a little bit of humor sprinkled throughout as well. Again, how is this better than the live action Justice League film? How did this happen? Come on, Warner Brothers. Well, anyway, That's all I really have to say. I'm actually kind of interested to check out a few other DC animated films. So, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, share. Later.